This is the Scary Movie Clubcast.
Live from the Clubhouse, it's Scary Movie Clubcast. This is Mackenzie.
This is Megan.
And Amanda.
And Nadine.
And tonight we watched Evil Dead, the 2013 remake. And I give it, 3 out of 5 rolls of duct tape.
Oh boy. I think I give it 2.5 rolls of duct tape.
I'm going to give it a 3.5 rolls of duct tape.
I give it a 1.5 rolls of duct tape out of 5, and that is only because of the last 20 minutes. The whole rest of it could have been cut, and I would have been fine.
True story.
Literally almost left while we were watching it.
It's true. So tonight we're going to be doing another episode of What's Your Sign? Murderer Edition. And we're doing it in teams this time. So me and Amanda are a team, and Nadine and Megan are a team. So first, Nadine and Megan are gonna go.
Yes. So our person is their.
It's a guy.
Matter. His sun sign is Sagittarius.
Found the spoiler siren.
I mean, odds are in favor of it being a man.
It's true. It's true.
It's so hard not to give pronouns.
You know?
So his sun sign is Sagittarius, and sun sign Sagittarius, they're people of immediate reactions. They often act on impulse, and they don't think about the consequences of their behavior before they act. And they can be provoked in seconds and explode. They tend to be selfish, authoritarian, unfaithful, brutal, unreliable, and reckless, which all of those things fit Nadine and I's person. They can be argumentative, obsessive, narrow-minded, and they will skirt their responsibilities. So all of those things describes our person quite well. He's not a good person. He's a murderer. I know,
Weird.
spoiler.
Oh my gosh.
Docile spoiler siren. It was my favorite. I want that to be the one all the time. Just Megan in the background.
Spoiler alert!
So I
Spoiler
thought
alert!
Dennis Nielsen
It's
was
not.
also Sagittarius. I was like, this sounds familiar.
They did Dennis Nielsen. They just redid Dennis Nielsen.
A twist. We're like, she'll never guess it.
She'll
It's her
never
own.
guess her own.
And that is sun sign Sagittarius.
Yes. Which also, just as like a side note, mostly because I accidentally wrote this down, I'm going to share it. For the sun sign, one of the things that I noticed is because he's a fire sign, he's motivated by inspirations and aspirations and recharged through physical activity and by pursuing your goals. Not only is this true of our murderer, but it's also true of me. 'Cause I'm a Leo. So, moon sign. His moon sign is Sagittarius as well. We doubled down.
Double fat.
We did the same.
So his moon sign, that's like his emotional reactions, things like that. They have like a goal or a mission that gives your life meaning. Sure. Always needs activity. Very true of our person.
Is murder the activity?
Ooh. He likes lots of terrible activity.
Oh, okay.
Believes things will get better even if you get into trouble.
Not
of
true.
this dum-dum.
True of this dum-dum.
A gambler. It said that, and so I can say it. And it's the truth.
Was he gambling with people's lives?
Life. Oh!
But also a real life gambler.
Okay.
And then
Such a real life gambler.
I know.
And then because his moon sign is, again, a fire sign, it means that he's most aligned with his inner self when expressing confidence and strength, which I guess is true of this douchebag. So his rising sign. This little fella's a Gemini. So that means, like, so since it's his rising sign, this is like his social personality, like the energy that drives his physical body. Curiosity, interest in how things work, versatility, adaptation, can do everything but doesn't excel in anything. Most of that is like, yeah, sure. I none of it like jumps out as far as being like so true, but it's all like, yeah,
I
whatever.
mean, it's not like he's excelling at murder, because
No.
he gets caught.
Yeah, always do.
Oh, I always
We
do.
wouldn't know about them if they didn't.
So true.
And since he, for his rising, is an air sign, it means that he's, like, supposedly mentally quick, inquisitive, friendly, prefer to express yourself verbally. I think that's true of this little fella. Approach life wanting to understand the meaning of what or whom you encounter. Not so much. This dum-dum's not that introspective.
No, he's an idiot.
Maybe
You
if
got
he was,
guesses
he
or
would have
questions?
rethought his life choices about killing people.
Right. That's fair.
Mm.
Wait, okay.
If you ever will.
Yeah.
So,
I assume we're talking about an American.
Correct.
is he a serial killer or
Yes.
okay, is he, like, really well known?
He's got a nickname.
He's got a
Oh.
nickname. When was his
What-
killing spree?
Yeah, when was he? Decade was he active?
He did technically start in the 60s, but it was the late 60s. His main period of time was all throughout the whole 70s. He was active.
Huh.
Yeah, you don't need to
You
get
may
stuck
not
on
know that
gambler.
he's a gambler.
Yeah.
If
That's
you, like,
just like a
researched him,
piece
then
of
you probably
information.
know.
Okay,
But
yeah.
My
Oh, but that
gosh.
could, like, well, I guess you can technically gamble anywhere, but I mean, it's more like if you're like
He's not in Vegas.
Oh.
If that's
Atlantic
I
City
feel like,
too.
Sure.
Is he from
Atlantic
New York?
City?
He is from
yeah.
New York.
Okay.
Is it the Son of Sam?
It is
I'm
not.
too famous.
Okay. I'm trying to think of who has nicknames.
Honestly, I feel like there's like a 50-50 shot that you guys will guess this person.
Was his did he murder women?
Yes.
Was it like sex?
Exclusively.
Like a sexual thing?
He was a
It
sadist.
was.
He was
It
a
was.
sadist.
Was it sex workers?
Yes.
Okay.
You're like, if only that wasn't all of that.
I know.
I-
That really narrowed it down to
Ted
a
Bundy didn't
lot.
murder, like Ted Bundy and Kemper, they didn't murder sex workers. They murdered
Just
High
women.
risk.
Just high risk women.
yeah,
Yeah,
high
no.
risk
This,
victims.
Freaking.
this guy pretty much exclusively preyed on sex workers.
Yeah, mostly. He does kill some others
Yeah.
Was he young when he committed the crimes?
when he started, yeah.
He
Okay.
started-
Pretty young.
Yeah. I don't know if y'all have seen it,
Is
but
it-
he has been in the news recently
Recently,
because
he
they've
was-
confirmed more killings.
Is it
More
the?
He was
his-
featured on My Favorite Murder.
I was gonna say, is it
He
the
was.
San Francisco? What is his name? The Golden State Killer?
no, this is New York.
Oh, in New York. Oh gosh.
Ooh.
So
Oh,
his nickname is based on, like, part of the way that he killed.
Yes.
Like, the way that
The
he
way
left
he-
his victims.
doesn't work. I was thinking Boston Strangler, but I was like, that's Boston, Massachusetts. Don't be a dummy.
Don't be a dumb. Advice from Amanda to Amanda.
Don't be a dummy.
Man, wait, no, I'm not ready to give
I
up.
have a clue. In the episode of My Favorite Murder where they talk about him, although I think that he possibly gets talked about in 2 different episodes, right?
He does. He has a whole episode to himself where they talk about him specifically, but she's going to reference a mini-sode where he's brought up.
Yes. And in the mini-sode where he's brought up, Georgia and Karen are talking about the snack that they're having first, and it involves cheese, and they talk about people who buy block cheese, and they refer to you as sociopaths. Amanda.
Look, it's just better. It has fewer weird preservatives in it.
My
No,
mom
I
loves
do
block
agree.
cheese.
I agree that it tastes better, and I agree that it's more cost effective, but it's just not worth the effort. It's too much effort.
This is a recent episode of My Favorite Murder.
No.
Mini-sode
Oh my
124.
Gosh.
Oh gosh,
Oh, that
okay.
So, if in case you have them memorized chronologically.
I'm like, that's what I
We've
needed.
given you a real big hint if you have.
Man, that cheese hint is not helpful.
And I think they did him at a live show.
I'm trying to, yeah.
In New York, and he has a nickname, and I can't
He
remember.
kills
what he's called.
prostitutes. How many people did he kill?
Confirmed now with the January confirmation of 3 additional victims.
Whoa.
9.
Is this upstate New York or the city?
Even New Jersey.
So the
Ah.
city more?
So
Yeah.
mostly
Well,
the
because that's
city.
where he
Yeah.
was
This-
living at the time.
He
was
did
living in New Jersey.
a lot of the murders, like, he focused
Come on,
on, this will be
brain.
a big hint, Times Square. That's where he would get a lot of his people from.
I hate everything.
But he also
It's
claimed,
part of
so
one of his nicknames.
confirmed 9, and
Is
the
he
police are
called the
working.
Times Square Killer?
No. So confirmed 9. The police are trying to confirm more because he is willing to talk about whatever his
Chad
victims.
Kathy.
He is, yeah. But he's claiming, which Nadine and I have both agreed is a ridiculous number, that we don't believe that he's committed. But he's claiming that he has killed 85 to 100
Oh
women.
my gosh, yeah. It's a lot of people.
Yeah, we don't believe his 100 because
No,
we're like,
no.
bro, we've seen your work. You're not that smart. You're not that successful. Like,
Where
come
he
on.
could have gotten away with killing 100 women before getting caught.
Yeah. while.
Yeah.
Doesn't
He has a
seem
nickname and
likely.
I've never heard of him?
He has like 3 nicknames, and it's obnoxious too because one of his nicknames he shares with someone else. So
What?
when I went to do my freaking research, I listened to a whole thing and took like 2 pages worth of notes, and then at the very end I was like, wait,
Wrong
I don't
person.
think that's the guy. I was like, no!
That's sad.
No, but should we keep giving more hints?
Give me a nickname. Give me one of them. I don't think I'm gonna get it. I don't think I know who this is.
I don't
Well,
know
not,
what it is.
we shouldn't give his famous nickname. I don't know what his other nicknames are. Maybe.
Honestly, I wouldn't have even known him by the famous nickname if it were me.
Okay, so his famous nickname, I'm not going to say it, but like Nadine said, it's after the way he killed, he's leaving behind a specific part of the body,
Yes.
which
What?
is what stems his nickname. So it's like he's mutilating the body in a way where this specific part of the body is what's noticeable. They're like, oh, well, these other things are missing. This is what's left.
We should probably just tell you guys.
Like he's okay, whatever. Give up. I've never heard of this.
I've
person.
not- I don't know who it
Really
is.
sure I don't know who it is.
So,
He's the torso killer.
I was literally about to say the torso killer because
You
the,
should've said
the
it.
body, when you talk about like the body,
Yeah.
even though that being said, I don't know that much about the torso killer, to be honest. I just
and
have
I'm-
seen the
I'm-
name pop
Is the
up.
other one you're talking the torso where famed detective Elliot Ness was on the case?
yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna flip back to my notes, but yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I got 2 pages worth of notes on that dummy. I was so angry.
Well, I'd be livid. I'd be like, Megan, we're switching!
Except for it was unsolved.
Yeah,
Although
it
they
is
all
unsolved.
know. One of those like Zodiac ones where you're like, we'll say unsolved, but we don't know.
Oh, wait, no.
The people in the know know.
But yes, his real name is Richard Cottingham, born November 25th, 1946. His first killing was done at the first known killing done at the age of 20.
I can imagine how many people I would have murdered if I started murdering at 20.
A lot.
That's what he tries to tell them when he's like,
It's
it's
like all the
100.
people. I've killed everyone.
Everybody up in here.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Hide your
Good, I'll kill them
prostitutes,
all.
because I'm killing everybody out here.
Wanna tell that. So one thing that's just like random but interesting was I watched this interview with him and stuff, and the person like in the very beginning he's like, I just wanted to be the best. So like I wanted to be, if I was gonna be a serial killer, then I wanted to be the best serial killer. And then like I had listened to that, and then I stopped listening to that interview because the woman started speaking French, and I was like, oh gosh. And so I paused it, which I eventually later went back because it wasn't that big of a deal. Like she speaks French, but they sub over it all the time. But so I had just heard that line from it, and then I went to look at other things, and I saw that 3 of his surviving victims testify against him at trial, and I was like, you dumb. And literally the reason that he got caught was because he would go to hotels, he would have these sex workers, and he would be like, oh, I'm gonna give you a massage later, and then he would handcuff them and do horrifying things to them, like terrible, for hours. And then so he would go to random hotels, and then sometimes he would just set the hotel on fire.
No, he wouldn't!
Yeah. Because no evidence now.
Exactly.
The hotel never even existed.
Oh,
Oof, it's gone.
My
For the
God.
evidence that someone definitely tried to burn it down.
Yeah,
Right.
one of the times a firefighter went into the room and like picked the woman up and like brought her over to give her CPR, and then he was like, she ain't got no head!
Oh my gosh!
Could you imagine? I'd be like, oh, today I retire.
I am
doing this no more.
quitting!
But so...
That's when he suspected it didn't happen in the fire.
But no, so he is doing that to like this really young prostitute. He's a horrible person, and he's been torturing her. He's doing it in the same hotel where he already left a body 2 weeks ago. So the hotel staff is already like on edge, and
someone leaving bodies up in here. I can't.
yeah. So then they hear like muffled screams and stuff, and a person goes up and knocks on the door, and it like takes a while for someone to come to the door, and then it's the girl, and he's standing behind the door like holding a knife to her, and she's like everything's fine, and like looks from side to side to like show like it's not fine.
Everything's bad.
Yeah, and so then they call the police, and he like tries to escape, runs out of the hotel as the police are coming, and 2 of them tackle him, some detective and then someone else, and he has like a whole murder bag with him with like gags and handcuffs, blades, all sorts of junk.
I mean, he's just so overconfident. He thinks that he's invincible. He takes the stand in his own defense against the advice of his attorney.
He takes notes the whole trial.
No!
But it's my journal.
That's such a dummy. Which also, I love that this woman, like the one who is the one that it gets him caught, basically, because like at one point she goes for the gun because he has a gun, and she like goes for it and goes to shoot him, but it's a toy gun. Very sad day.
Are you kidding?
And he's such a lunatic, and he's like, "You'll take it. They all had to take it." He's like, "You're a whore. You have to be punished."
Yeah.
What?
The worst
Mm,
person.
you know,
Yeah, that
punish
was
you.
his rationale between killing all these sex workers was that they were sinners.
Oh yeah.
They
And-
deserved to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after he had been arrested, they like interviewed him for like hours and hours, and then the only thing that he said, literally the only thing was, "I have a problem with women." Over hours of interviewing. Like,
Really?
Wouldn't say anything else.
The
Yeah.
size. I'd be like, I can't do this. As a detective, I'd be like,
And the worst thing that you guys just have to know before we move on is that this woman who like interviewed him, they've been corresponding through letters for years because she does that with serial killers because she, you know, wants to help as far as she wants them to be honest about who they murdered. That way the families can have that closure. And she's there and she says, "Would you have murdered me?" And he's like, "No, I respect you. You're the type of woman who wouldn't take any crap." He is like, "You're the type of woman that I more see as a girlfriend." And then here's the line that kills me the most. He goes, "At least on my end. I don't know about you." Like he expects her to confirm.
like, no. That's not that kind. This isn't that kind of correspondence, bruh.
She's like, "I've been waiting for you to say it. I love you."
Oh, which also last one thing. At one point, he whined to one of his coworkers about how he got VD from a prostitute. He's a family man. Wife, 3 kids. He's always talking about how he's going to these S&M clubs and gambling.
Oh, gosh.
Things like that. He's like, ah.
And he's
He probably raped and murdered the girl who gave him VD.
yes.
Probably, yeah.
Also, one more fact.
One more.
Just she had her last
The third
fact,
last.
and my last fact is that there was another woman who went to go visit him in prison because her mother had been a victim of the torso killer. They developed a friendship. Yes.
I am shocked. I am shook
Yes.
to my core.
Yeah,
Look how-
she's
my
friends
God.
with him now.
Is he still alive?
Yeah. Because he, back in January,
Oh.
is when the police were able to confirm 3 more, and he's still
That's like
talking to police about other victims that they're trying to confirm are his.
that's
He's
like
not
in
remorseful.
that's like
No,
in
he's not. Which I'm like,
Dirty John.
he's admitted to her face that he was in fact the one who murdered her mother, and she had gone asking where her head was,
Oh my god.
because it wasn't found at the scene.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and you developed a friendship with this guy?
No.
That is insane to me.
She's
No.
not healthy.
No.
She's not healthy at all. Well,
But yeah.
what have we learned? The
Fun
torso
fact.
killer, not a good guy.
We're gonna learn that a lot.
Yeah. So, this person, their sun sign is Pisces, and their moon sign is Pisces.
Double Pisces.
So we, in a string of double taps, we have a double Pisces.
Oh, and isn't the Pisces sign 2 fish?
It is in a circle to represent infinity,
Ooh.
never ending. So Pisces are typically very gentle. They're typically patient, but they can become completely absorbed in their environment. They're highly tuned into everything, including their surroundings. They're very sensitive people, imaginative, very artistic. Just so you know, this
Yeah, our dude is not like this.
Not like
for the
this.
most part. Like there might have been a point in his very early life where he was the sensitive
yeah
person, but he
lost that.
like a lot of like bad things happened to him, like they do to most serial killers. But then also he made a lot of bad choices.
Yeah, they can be scatterbrained, emotional, unreliable, easily lured into drugs or alcohol for distraction, which
is 110% true for this person.
yeah, he needed a lot of distractions, and he definitely used drugs as the biggest one.
Yeah.
And Pisces can be dragged into a sea of emotions. So again, he's not a sensitive dude. He's pretty rough.
But it might be because the drugs have dulled
Destroyed
his
his brain.
sensitivities.
Yeah.
Because he got into them very, very young.
Shockingly young.
Yeah.
His rising sign is Sagittarius. So we've learned a little bit about Sagittarius tonight. But just to add to it, the idea they can't be contained. They love freedom. They love adventure. They're never dull. Something that is really interesting about Sagittarius is their sign is a hunter, and so they tend to love hunting, and not necessarily the sport of hunting, but it could be like the thrill of the chase of like trying to get something. In our case,
He was definitely in for it for the thrills.
yeah, I was in for it for the thrills and the kills and the chills. Yeah, he's not super, like we've said 100 times, not super similar to his zodiac, except
But I'll give you a major hint. He is like a really well-known
yeah,
killer.
he's dead now. And
Any questions? Any hints you want to get specifics?
Is he American?
yes.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's not white.
He's first generation.
But his killings are in America?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He's a first generation American immigrant. Like
Okay.
he's the first one of his family to be born
Mm-hmm.
in the States.
I gotcha. When was he active?
The 70s?
Yeah, like mid to late 70s,
Yeah.
early 80s. Actually, he was most active during 85.
Yeah.
That's like
Like
he had done
84,
like he had
85.
done smaller crimes beforehand, but he didn't really get into murdering until like 84, 85.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he murdered women?
He murdered everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, he
He's killed 14
didn't
people.
care.
He murdered
Did he,
everybody.
like families, or just like he was indiscriminate with his killing?
Yeah, he's pretty indiscriminate.
Indiscriminate.
Because what he did is he would. This is gonna be a big hint, but he would break into homes and just whoever was there was who.
Yeah, it was like sort of like what's the right word? Like opportunity killings.
Yeah,
Boy.
I do think a lot of
So
times
this-
though it was women
Yeah.
for the most part.
I know there was one murderer who, I don't know his name or when he was active, but I do remember like this quote that was like, he took an unlocked door as an invitation. Is it that
It
kind
is
of?
not that guy,
Okay.
but we
didn't know who he was anyways.
love
Wouldn't have mattered if
That's
you said
Richard
it was.
Chase. Yeah, we
Richard
love him.
Chase.
We talked about him too.
The Vampire Sacramento.
That's right.
We talked about him right before you guys came in. It was pretty funny.
So he would break in. He
Yeah.
wouldn't.
But I mean, at this time in history and where he was, it wasn't uncommon for doors and windows to be open and unlocked because it was hot. His killing spree happened during the summer.
Is this in California?
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh. Is it the rapist guy? Or no,
Mm-mm.
because he...
Well, no, he did rape.
Yeah, but it's not like.
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
one that
Though-
I'm thinking of.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's not
Okay.
the East Area rapist,
Yeah.
aka the Golden State Killer.
But yeah, he
I
did
know who this person is.
sexually
Okay,
assault
but so
people.
he
He
did
did rape people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just the women?
No,
Yeah.
Before or after murder? Do you have preference?
I think it was before because he
think it was
was
before.
he was a sadist. It was about like demeaning his victims. Like
And we for sure know who it is.
yes,
Yeah.
I would be shocked if you,
would
didn't
think
know.
that was enough.
I would
Like,
be
you would
shocked.
think that just the fact that we for sure know who it is and that they're a serial killer
I
and
feel
they're
like-
not white, that we'd be like, it's this one.
I feel like if you knew his race, you would really.
Yeah.
What
You would-
state?
California.
California. Because that's what I guessed.
Do you want to know his race?
Might
He's
be more
Hispanic.
embarrassing.
He was a religious man. Not
You
in a
would
great
say
way.
that. Not.
Mm-hmm.
No, he didn't love God.
It wasn't Richard Ramirez, was it?
It was Richard
No.
Ramirez.
I was like, I know who it is. Go and figure it out.
And
Richard
because he
Ramirez.
didn't just murder and rape women, he also did the same to children.
It's the
He was also
worst.
called the Night Stalker, and it was in.
It was
Which
right
he-
there on the tip of my
he
tongue when I
probably
guessed
loved that
California.
because
I was like,
The
oh,
dude
this
loved
is-
AC/DC, and they have a song called "The Night Prowler."
Yeah, he probably loved that.
Probably digged it so hard.
Yeah. Whew. All right. I was getting nervous that this episode was going to be full of things that we couldn't guess. Like,
No,
oh,
I
no,
picked an
they're
easy
both
one.
gonna-
Yeah, we were like, no, you're not
It's
gonna
like we're not going to be able to guess theirs, and then they didn't guess ours.
Yeah, so little Richie, at a young age, but like before 10, his friends described him as really nice, normal, and funny. They really liked him. He was really sociable, a really happy kid. Despite the fact that his father was abusive, but around age 10, he started smoking pot, and he also developed epilepsy, which some people believe might be because when his mother was pregnant, she worked in this factory that had a lot of harsh chemicals in it. I saw somewhere that he has like 2 siblings, because he's a big family. He's the youngest of 5, and he has 2 siblings that were born with like some sort of like birth defect or something. He was influenced really heavily by his really disgusting cousin,
Ugh.
Miguel Mike Ramirez, who was a Green Beret, and had a bunch of Polaroids he would show Richie and like stories he would tell about him raping women in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, disgusting.
Garbage human.
And there's
Richie
a
was
couple.
12.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And there was a
That's
couple
12.
that he had killed. He had a couple Polaroids of him holding decapitated heads of women that he had killed.
Yeah,
in
he
Vietnam.
was disgusting. And then he also watched the same cousin murder his wife in front of him.
Yeah, murder his own wife.
And this guy also got off because he was declared insane and went to a mental institution and got out within 4 years and was back in Richie's life.
So
But
ridiculous.
in the interim, he went to go live with his sister and brother-in-law. Turns out his brother-in-law is a peeping Tom and would take Richie along with him. And so by the time Richard Ramirez was 15, he was into peeping. He was a peeping Tom, into LSD and Satanism, and probably still smoking marijuana.
Who introduced him to Satanism?
I don't.
I think he was just. So he came from a really religious family, so Catholic.
Yeah.
And I think maybe just as like a rebellious sort of thing, he got involved in Satanism. I didn't really see any word that said like exactly how he got into it, but it wouldn't surprise me if that was it, because
He was big into it.
yeah.
It was like his thing.
Yeah, and actually he committed he first attempted rape before he was out of 9th grade.
Ugh.
He was working at a Holiday Inn, and he had been stealing from people staying there. And then he got caught attempting to rape someone's wife when they came back. And then when the guy tried to stop him, Richie beat him. And
That
then...
9th grader?
Yeah.
This grown man. Oh boy.
Did he, like, with his hands? He didn't have, like, a
Probably
weapon or
with his
anything?
hands.
Yeah, I imagine it was just with his hands. He just started beating him up.
He came from the streets.
Yeah. And anyway, he doesn't get charged with it. Like, charges get dropped because the couple is from out of state and they don't want to come back into state to testify.
Dude, someone attempts to rape me, I will come back. Like, I will
I
pay
feel
for
like
that
at this
plane
point, like,
ticket. I will
yeah.
take
I
off
feel like
work.
assault and rape,
You're
they shouldn't
going
even have to
jail.
come back. I mean, like, he was...
The state should charge them.
Yes.
But I guess they're the only witnesses. So it's like...
I mean, I feel like the pictures of this man being beaten and this woman probably who's also been beaten
Well, but
would be
they're
enough.
the witness. Like,
But
I
you
don't...
take pictures of them and you have, like...
But no one else was there. So, I mean...
I don't know.
Like, if you had a black guy and then you were like, Nadine hit me, unless you're there to be like, Nadine hit me, then your black guy isn't gonna prove anything.
Anyway, now it's... Back then it was probably a lot, but I mean, now you're like, it was probably definitely the case, because he
He's
went
a
on to
serial
rape and
killer.
murder,
Yeah.
like, 14 people. So yeah, he drops out of school in 9th grade, so right at the beginning of high school.
Doesn't
Don't know
need
what
it.
happened in between dropping out of high school and turning 22, but then he moves to LA to Skid Row, and his first murder, which just connected to him recently in 2009, was in 1984. It was a 9-year-old. It doesn't say a 9-year-old girl, I believe.
Yeah.
Who he murdered, and then later he goes on his killing spree. And there's just like a couple of stories I think are really cool of like just like crazy things that happened where like people survived. The first one is on March 17th, 1985, Ramirez attacked a 22-year-old Maria Hernandez outside her home. He shot her in the face with a .22 caliber handgun as she pulled into her garage. But she survived because the bullet ricocheted off her keys. Like, she, put her hand up with her keys in her hand, and the bullet ricocheted off. So she probably hit the ground after getting hit, and
What
he just
are
went
the
inside.
odds?
I know. Insane.
That is... And that it would ricochet off the keys and not...
Just
like,
go
Yes.
bust
Yes.
through the keys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the
I mean,
keys.
he probably was mad close to her face.
Yeah, that is...
So she survives. Unfortunately, he does go into the house, and her roommate Dale Yoshi Akazaki was not so lucky. Richard killed her, but then there's another insane situation. So July 5th, 1985, Ramirez broke into a home in Sierra Madre, California, bludgeoned 16-year-old Whitney Bennett with a tire iron as she slept in her bedroom. After searching in vain for a knife in the kitchen, Ramirez attempted to strangle the girl with a telephone cord, but he was startled when he saw sparks emanate from the cord, and the victim began to breathe again. He fled. Yeah, he fled out. He fled the house, believing Jesus Christ had intervened and saved her. Bennett survived the savage beating, which required 478 stitches to close the lacerations in her scalp. But anyway, so the best part of the Richard Ramirez story is how he gets caught. It's so good.
So good.
So good. So he goes out of town to visit his brother. During this time, the police figure out who he is. And so they put his face everywhere. It's on every magazine, every newspaper. Everyone knows who Richard Ramirez is, at least in California. And they're all looking for him. He comes back and he's just like casually like in like this like little store to get like some snacks or something, and some elderly Mexican women fearfully identify him as El Matador, or the killer. So Ramirez saw his face on the pages of the newspaper rack in the store and panicked when he realized he'd been discovered. And then he runs across this Santa Ana freeway and he attempts to carjack a woman, but was chased away by bystanders who pursue him after hopping over several fences to attempt more carjackings. He was eventually subdued by a group of residents, one of whom had struck him over the head with a metal bar in the pursuit. The group held Ramirez down and relentlessly beat him until the police arrived and took him into custody. Citizens arrest!
He had to get arrested to save himself from being killed by a mob. Later to die in prison.
But he dies in prison from like disease.
Lymphoma, yeah, something like that. Yeah, B-cell lymphoma. Kind of not a good guy, you know what I'm saying?
Kind of like real bad.
Kind of like a bad guy.
I also found this questionnaire, a friend questionnaire that he filled out while he was in prison.
Someone sent it to him,
Yeah.
mailed it to him, and he filled it out and mailed it back.
So, let's see, can you guess any of
Why?
these? What do you think his most treasured honor is?
Come on.
Murderer.
His dick.
His dick.
Stop it.
Childhood hero.
Cousin.
Jack the Ripper.
Of course.
Favorite TV show. The Munsters.
I like the monsters. Oh no, my
Don't
killer!
No!
Favorite meal? Women's feet.
Ew!
He's disgusting.
No.
It's not as bad as I thought it would be.
Favorite hobby. Do hobby, that one's
Oh,
so
okay,
good.
okay. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Slicing, dicing, and spicing up rump roast.
What? Oh, Ideal Night. That
How
one's
old
one of
is
the
he when he
kids.
fills this
I
out?
don't know, like, probably 30? 28? I
I don't. When
don't know. He crazy.
I feel like he's relatively young when he gets caught, but
I'll look
Okay.
into it.
You do that in the meantime. He's really into true crime too,
Yes.
and he recommends all murderer books and true crime magazines for reading. And the latest book that he read after writing this was The Marquis de Sade. You ready for his ideal evening?
No,
Yes.
never.
Picture it, guys. Full moon, sex plus drugs all night.
There it is.
It's also not as bad as I would have thought.
No, he's like quite a guy. Really.
Sounds consensual.
Let's hope
Voice and sex.
What do you think his friends? Why do you think his friends like him?
they don't trust me.
Yeah, trick question. He ain't got no friends. Associates only.
Yeah, that's right. He don't got no friends.
You know what he thinks he'd be if he were an animal?
Yeah.
Tyrannosaurus.
What makes you think you'd be as cool as a Tyrannosaurus? No.
He was 25 when he was caught.
Yeah, so pretty young.
How long was he in prison before he died?
Let's see. 53 when he died.
Oh, a long time. So he could have been, like, we don't know what age he was when he filled this out, right?
No, I don't think I have a date for when this is filled out.
He was married in 96. Yeah, they were married until he died.
Kill me.
Oh my gosh, no, you know what is even worse? I was listening to this video,
Can you see?
and the woman who marries him, she said that, they said that she was planning on killing herself when Richard was to be executed.
Oh,
He
did
did-
she?
I don't know. He didn't make
I
it to
don't
his
know. Let me look it
execution.
up.
He died before then.
Lisa was able
From
to know.
illness.
I bet she
These,
did.
how
I bet
she
she
did.
lied.
Oh, no.
But she found a new boo.
Yep.
I find out.
But yeah, he's pretty
She
disgusting.
said- Yeah, I don't. No details about Leoy are available, and her whereabouts are unknown. She doesn't want to be in the public, so she could be dead. I doubt though.
Probably not.
I really doubt it. I really
She's probably
doubt
trying to find a new
New serial
row
killer.
husband.
They always
Probably
are.
on the prowl,
They
baby.
always are.
Yes.
They always looking. That's our boy Richie.
That's Richie, baby. Well, guys, see you next movie night, and don't forget there are 173 days till Halloween. Bye. Bye. So, me, Mackenzie, and Amanda, like me, I am Mackenzie.
Myself.
Would we do
And
that because that was confusing?
I know. I just don't.
She's talking about her and her sub-personality.
Yeah, I am in third person. So, I guess I'll.
Sorry, I'm reading my own handwriting. Well, trying to.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not gonna pronounce this wrong. Dale Yoshi. Oh gosh. Akazaki. was not so lucky. I'm not great at pronouncing things.
That's alright.